All right, school's back in session. My name is Anthony.
I'm Brian.
And I'm the man, the myth, the legend, returning once again. Your boy, the Crown Prince, AJ.
And this is Academia, so we actually have a whole lot to catch up to and talk about today. So how are you guys doing? Like, what's been going on with you?
I've been doing a little bit more laying low, I guess, and just focusing on myself, I guess, a little bit more deep thinking, finding peace. I guess that would be for me.
I feel that.
Finding peace. That sounds super tranquil, bruh. I just been working, man. Pulling them shifts, making this money. About to go on a vacation next week, so I'm looking forward to that.
The grind don't stop.
Other than that, man, I've just been working.
I feel that. The grind never stops, but whenever you need your time off, definitely take that time off. So I don't blame you on that. Mm-hmm. All right, so the topic today is going to be pretty strong. Most of you probably already heard about it, but the theme is basically This is America. And, one of the videos that are very trending right now, a lot of people are talking about it.
I think it's got over 100 million views already, I want to say.
Yeah, that's just crazy. And that's just probably YouTube alone right there. You got other sources that has the same footage and all that. But we're also going to be talking about also the school shooting that went on earlier this week. School shootings, it's crazy that it's happening, but we want to talk about that, give our thoughts on it. Also, about some woman who just recently graduated, just giving our opinions on it and, talking about how we feel about that situation. So, what should we begin with, guys? What do y'all want to start on?
I would like to start on the music video, I guess.
Okay,
This is America.
This is America. Well, for those of you who don't know, This is America was a song that was released by Childish Gambino, I believe, 2 weeks ago, I want to say.
A.K.A. Donald Glover.
Yeah, the night he did Saturday Night Live, at 12 o'clock that night. He dropped a music video by the name of This is America. Now, if you haven't seen that music video, I recommend that you definitely go check it out. I would give it music video of the year by far so far.
Okay.
A lot of hidden messages, a lot of hidden themes. Well, not really hidden messages, but a lot of messages, a lot of things that are worth decrypting in that music video. Really powerful if you haven't seen it. So, gentlemen, opinions, if y'all have seen it, how y'all feel about it?
Well, Brian, you got anything to say?
I'm going to start with the negatives of it. First, because
really? Oh, okay, that's fine.
I like being the bad guy, the villain. I know, I do.
No, man, just do your thing.
I was watching The Breakfast Club where Charlemagne had spoken on it, so I wanted to take his side of view. I thought that it was very interesting, but when they took the callers on, asking different opinions about the music video, the first thing that a woman said was that she has no problem with the music video, but when it comes to music, it's like your free place, your space.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to see those kind of things that as cultural that she had to grow up dealing with, depending on your age group. If you're older, then you definitely had to experience more hard times as far as racism. She doesn't want to see that in her music videos. What he had to say as far as the reenactment of it was that he should have had a white person doing some of those things because a black person would never come in and shoot the church up. So that was what he was talking about, but overall it was a great video. But if you're not African American, like they said on some of the comments, which I actually read and checked some of those myself, you don't really understand the whole concept, because then it looks like black on black crime. So that was very interesting that he brought that up, and I had to look at it from a different standpoint of view.
And I personally, for me, that kind of perspective towards the video, it kind of it annoys me, because in a sense, how could you be that bland of a person? The things that are in the music video, how could you see Donald Glover, whatever you want to call him, Childish Gambino as an artist? He is the protagonist of the music video.
Right.
So being that he was the one, and if you haven't seen the video, spoiler alert, but being that he was the one that shot the guy to open the music video, and being that he was the one that also shot that church choir in the music video, I think it's like, of all the things that were in the music video, how is black on black crime what you received from that? That's kind of crazy to me that someone could only see that side of it. When it's clearly he's portraying he's portraying the real life situation that occurred. So it would be different if that was the case, then don't put him in the video at all and just have it all be like other actors or other people portraying those things. But being that he was the star of that music video in general, he's the one doing the dancing, he's the one doing the rapping, he's the centerpiece of that video the entire time. So why take the time to take him out of that just to replace him with a white actor for sake of, keep from portraying black on black crime? Like, I don't see how you can draw that conclusion that everything that went on in the music video, everything that went on in the background, it's hard for me to see how you can only see that. So that's crazy to me.
Well,
really, and I saw those comments on YouTube too of people saying, it's just another black dude killing a bunch of black people. When realistically in history has that, and fact check me, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think a black person has ever shot up a black choir ever in history.
Yeah,
I don't think an African American has ever went to a church and just done like a mass shooting. I don't know if there's any, and fact check me because I don't know this for sure. But if there are any, is there ever a time when like an African American a mass shooting?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that you're wrong on that, but you have people that don't understand because of they're just morons, I guess. But then also there's the stand where you have to understand as well that what I took was a small piece in the video also represents being a stereotype, and because of representing the stereotype of showing that obviously, shooting someone in the back of the head, playing the guitar, and then you got him shooting up the choir. Though if it can be perceived as a stereotype kind of video. So because of it was him doing it, not someone else, it looks kind of like white people or anyone else that is not of African American color get the other stuff from it because they're looking like, I don't get it because when the video first came out and you saw him shoot the black person from behind, it threw you off. And
because you start with this happy tone, he's dancing, he's jigging, he's getting loose, and then all of a sudden it snaps. He shoots us in the back of the head, and he opens with "This is America." So I feel like it's that video.
But then it gets a little better, and he's like
dancing. But then if you look in the background, there's chaos going on all behind him. There's all kinds of chaos, all kinds of stuff going on. But your focus is drawn on to him dancing with that group of kids. So it's like easy to. The video is extremely. It was well produced in the sense that it's open to interpretation as far as how Marlon speaks on just his view of America in general, of how like all the chaos that goes on and all we focus on is just the happiness and the dancing. Meanwhile, in the background, all this crazy stuff was going on.
Well, so Marlon Wayans said that he would love to work with the guy and that he thinks that it is really great with the video because really, I won't say that people are morons from what they got from it because like Donald, when he was asked about it, he didn't really want to speak on it because he didn't want to hinder the video as far as the interpretation, which I definitely agree with that. But with that being said, you can get more than one interpretation from it. So I wouldn't really I wasn't too upset about the comments, except for the ones that were just like out there. Mm-hmm. But you can get a bunch of things from this video in different points, and it's about perception in that video. I mean, I can point out a couple of different things and go from it from different angles. I'm not going to do all that, but that video represents more than one thing, and it's all about what you believe in, what are your morals and things, and how does that transpire to you and what your interpretation is on the video. Mm-hmm. So that's just my opinion on it. So it's not really too much to say about, like he said, you get what you get from it. It's who you are, what you represent. Yeah. So
I think he was actually portraying many characters in that video. That's what I was getting from it, really. Like, I could see how some people can think, oh, this is a black on black crime, but really, like, the stories that he was even explaining through those videos, it's not just like one black person or one white person or whatever. It was really him portraying many different characters during different situations.
Yeah, which ties in with the whole "This is America" theme.
Exactly.
Which is like this is what America is. Like, that's what we glorify. Is like and even you could even take it as deep as when he murdered the people in the video, right? How and these are just things that I noticed and things of like explanations of the video that I've watched of how when he murdered those people, like their bodies were treated like with like the most utmost disrespect. They were either just left to lay or they were just dragged away. But the guns that he was using, as soon as he shot them, he sent them gently in a towel and someone carried it away. speaking towards the message of like people treat guns with more respect than they do
gun control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was a message towards gun control.
Same
People
thing
treat
with
their
the
guns with more
camera
respect
phones
than they
up
do
on
with
the- sitting up there.
with
Yeah.
than like human bodies than human decency.
Yeah.
So, and that's a great. And I know Anthony. I think did you have a fact check that you were trying to bring up? I saw you had.
Yeah, I actually Googled up to see if there was any shootings in a church, but it wasn't from a black guy at all. I don't want to like be pessimistic or anything about it, but really it was this guy.
Dylan Roof. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Dylan Roof.
That's who he was portraying in the video. Was Dylan Roof. He was the one when he showed up the church choir. That's who he was portraying. Was Dylan
It
Roof.
was an African Methodist church.
Yeah,
Down
so
in
he was,
Carolina,
yeah,
wasn't it?
so
South
but
Carolina.
and that's what I'm saying, and that was and when that whole Dylan Roof thing went down, that was a big thing. So how you get like, I feel like that's a clear interpretation or a clear portrayal in my head. Now, from someone else's perspective, maybe not, but I
Because-
feel like how can you mistake that with it's just black on black crime? Like,
Because-
how can you dumb it down that much?
You can
so
dumb-
you can only see just like this plain baseline.
I'm
white
going to
piece
give
of
you the
paper.
answer to that because no disrespect to our culture or anything like that, but it's easy to be dumbed down because black people kill each other over different reasons, and a lot of them don't make a lot of sense, to be honest with you. So when you see a black man showing out, dancing and riding, and this is just the basic before getting into details and really focusing on it, when you have to actually watch the music video a couple times. At least I did
Yeah,
because
I've watched it at least 20, 30 times.
Well,
at
I'm
least.
Yeah.
I just like you have to watch it a couple times to break it down. But when you first watch it, and like I said, if you're not African American and you're stereotyping black people already as in we kill each other for petty things and that it's always black
Which
on
I
black
hate.
crime.
Which I hate that stereotype. I hate the whole idealism behind black on black crime.
But with that
because-
being said, though, that's kind of, you think of a man showing out dancing, showing he's the king, standing on the car and stuff and shooting everybody. From the grasp of it, you're like, dang, this guy's ruthless. He's just showing out, dancing, talking about getting it and all that other stuff. And that's what they got from it. Now, if they watched it again and looked at the details and the background and all that other stuff, like black people, I believe that when we first watched it, we didn't have to. We went past black on black crime because it's a part of us in history. So when we looked at it and we seen the choir and all that, it automatically translated because it affected our people. So that's why it's easy for a black person to be like, oh yeah, I get that, because it affected us as a whole, as a community, as a African American culture. But to a white person, they don't give a damn about it.
I just thought about it.
and that's sad that they don't.
But
Yeah.
I'm just keeping it
I had
real.
a point, but go ahead, Anthony. I was gonna say something.
Oh no, it's alright. I was just thinking about it. Like, we are 3 black men in the community and all that talking about this, but really, like, I kind of wish we had someone in a different authenticity so that they can give their opinion
like
about
a
it.
different perspective.
Yeah,
Two
because-
white girls up and find
Yeah,
out.
I got a homegirl that I work with. Actually, I told her that we were going to record the podcast today and what we were going to talk about, and she was like, "Invite me to that podcast." 'cause I got a lot
Oh
of stuff to
man,
say, too.
see, she should have came. Okay, now I feel like we should just.
Nah,
No, we
it's
can
cool. We'll keep
continue.
it going,
Yeah.
but, we got plenty of time for
Well,
guests.
yeah, we
for
can
guest
always bring in
opportunity.
somebody else to talk about it.
Absolutely. What I was gonna say as far as the whole, and this is just my own personal thing about the whole idealism of black on black crime is it's ignorant to me in the sense that people say, oh, well, black people kill black people all the time. Well, white people kill white people all the time. Mexican people kill other Mexicans all the time. Asians kill Asians. What does that even mean? Like, black people are surrounded by other black people more than
Yeah.
they are any other culture. So if someone's going to murder someone, they're going to murder someone that's closer to them in general. Whether you want to take it to like, oh, well, they're, it's like, oh, they just only look, like, no one looks to kill just another black person just because, okay, I'm just going to skip this white guy and go kill this black dude. That's not the case. It's because we're surrounded by each other, so we murder each other. More white people live around other white people, so more white people kill white people. It doesn't necessarily negate to, black people why black people always killing themselves? Because we're surrounded by each other. What do you mean? What are you talking about? We shouldn't kill each other. Anyway, I'm not putting a message of, let's kill each other.
One
But
word
you
would
can't
be-
try to make it just, it's black on black crime. Black people got to treat black people each other. Black people have to treat each other right, and I agree with that. But you can't just try to dumb down and say, it's black on black crime, when it's because there's no, what do you mean?
You have to understand that we are the minority. So, with that being said, they're like, white people are like deers in a sense. They're overpopulated. There's a million white people in other cultures. I think we're the lowest percent. So, when it's already not a whole lot of us, and then we're also taking each other out for whatever our reasonings are,
Well,
it doesn't help the case for
but
black on black crime. Then if it was the opposite way around, it'd be the same thing. Because then
it's an economic thing. Though. It's not even a race thing. It's an economic thing. Poor people are more likely to kill another poor. You never see a story of Kanye West shot Jay-Z. Donald Glover just shot Drake. Rich black people don't kill rich black people. It's not a race thing at all. It's an economic thing. It's when you're in a poor situation. It's when you're poor. That's when it becomes there's more crime. There's absolutely more crime in poor areas. But who is in the poor areas? African Americans. So you can say that. But it's not even a race thing. It's an economic thing. So take race out of it and let's talk about the money behind it. And if they want to say, how do black people get out of those poor economic situations? We were put there from the jump. So it's not like there was no head start. There was
because of race, though. We were put there from the jump because of race. So you can't
because of race, but you can take race out of it though. No. It's not, you don't make it. It doesn't make.
I believe that black people have a harder road to take when it comes to doing that.
Absolutely.
So you can't take that out of it. If you were white, then I'm not going to say.
I'm not talking about
taking
like race out of it completely. I'm talking about just when it comes to black on black crime. You can't blame that solely on just because they're black. You have to add their economic situation into the equation because the crime wouldn't exist if everyone was rich. The crime wouldn't exist to that extent. Is what I'm saying.
Well, there's also the lower end class of the white people as well too, because there are times where they be killing each other as well.
Absolutely.
So.
If you go on a Portland, white people shoot other white people, but you're not going to see friggin' George Bush shoot Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
It's a money thing. It's economic. It has nothing to do with race at all.
There are higher end black people who don't do any of that stuff as well. So really, it's just all like you said, money, location, maybe. It's just everyone has these issues. It's been going on since the beginning of time that people have been doing these things.
Since the beginning of America.
Yeah.
And for this episode, this is America. Since the beginning of America, it was never equal to begin with. So. But that's a whole nother episode. So
what do you think about, since we are talking about people killing each other like that, this is actually becoming a very deep podcast. But anyways, the school shooting.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm sick of hearing about school shootings. I'm fed up with the whole idea of.
There's really no way.
I'm fed up with school shootings.
Yeah, it's very sad.
And it pisses me off when they plaster the name of the shooter all over the news. There's 24-hour coverage. You see it all over. And he was sad and he wore a trench coat all the time. Why are you telling this man's story? That's exactly what he wanted. This man literally said when he shot the people, he just did it for attention. So you literally just gave him exactly what he wanted.
I disagree with that.
When someone shoots a school up, I don't give a damn about anything about their life. Put them in the jail, let them rot in hell. I don't care. Do not glorify what this man did.
It's not glorifying what he did. It's also a notion to the parents because the school is a thing where you have to understand that paying attention, so the lady, when she had the Columbine shooting, one of the moms, which is still alive, came out and spoke last year, I believe, and said that she spoke on it about how she wished she would have raised her child better and noticed and paid attention to the signs. Obviously, they're not glorifying the shooter. They're just pointing out the signs. Like, you should seem to understand something's going on with your child if he's wearing a trench coat every day and some things are odd and not normal. So you have to understand that there are warning comes before destruction. So with that being said, you have to pay attention to the clues and the details. All they're doing is listing, this is leading up to this shooting. This guy did this, and this. You guys need to pay attention to these things. If you see someone in your school in the future, for the ones that are around or whatever the case is that aren't homeschooled, pay attention to these things because these are likely going to be the next shooter, and maybe we can put a stop to this and figure out what's wrong with him, which is also taking an effect in why celebrities have been promoting cyberbullying and things like that. So, but we had a conversation in a barbershop.
Yeah,
the other day,
had a long conversation
about that. They were talking about putting metal detectors in, and the guy that cuts my hair was in the military. We actually disagree with that because what good does a metal detector do? Because once it goes off, he's already in there anyway. What you gonna do? Duck for cover? He's gonna come in there and blast the whole school up. So it just notifies that the person's already in the building as opposed to not knowing. I was watching a show. I'm not gonna lie. I know this is a little random. I was watching that Lethal Weapon, and before he
Lethal Weapon,
and before he, which the guy got fired, by the way, but when he asked his wife Trish, she said, "Are you gonna kill me before I wire this $2 million in your bank account?" He was like, "Would knowing be any better?" She was like, "Well, not really. It didn't matter if I knew I was gonna die anyway. So let me go ahead and wire this on in." Yeah. So at the school, knowing that you're going to die and not knowing, is that any better, even though you're going to die?
No, well, I wouldn't take it to that far. I mean,
yeah, because it's the different thing with the metal detectors.
Can we talk about how terrible it is in general that this is a conversation that we have to have? That school shootings are so generalized and normal now that this is just regular conversation. Like, isn't that terrible?
Yeah, that is terrible.
First of all, that we're this dumbed down and numb to this kind of thing happening, where it's just regular conversation. Yeah. We shouldn't have to have these conversations to begin with anyway. And I think, Brian, you made a great point by one thing that I didn't think about is that I guess paying attention to the signs before that incident happens. That being said, though, I still hold my point. I don't want to know this man's name, and I don't really care to know his story either. Mm-hmm. Don't glorify. When you have parents who are hurting because their child just wanted to go to school and get their education, and they have to get a phone call, "Hey, little Timmy just got shot." That's not Timmy. That's not what you want to hear when you're like you know what I mean? Like, that's a terrible thing. Last thing I want to see if someone kills my child, last thing I want to see is their name and their picture and their story all over the news.
Yeah, Wouldn't you at least like to know who killed your child?
Well, it's good to know, but to make us feel sorry for someone that killed someone we cared about?
I just went over that. It's not to make you feel sorry. It's just showing the signs. I'm not going to get too deep into that. But like I said, I don't think that it's glorifying anything. But if somebody killed my child,
I do though, because then you have like that kid who
I would at least like to know who it is, because not everybody has the same motives of sitting at home and being calm. You have some people that are really crazy and are really hurt by the shootings, and they might want to do something. That's more than before he makes it inside the cell, and then you never know whose connections inside the prison anyway. You know, so. It's certain things that you do and don't do, and when it comes to kids, they don't play about that in prison.
Well, there's a pro to con to knowing about it.
It's just frustrating, dude.
There's a pro and con, but it's all created by the people of how these shootings start. And I'm not saying that, you know, they're happening more frequently now than they did before. Right. As anything that works in a positive way hurts even more in a negative way, only because of they didn't have social media back then, so when a school shooting happened, it was because you verbally face to face. Now you can't get away from it because any little freedom.
Yeah, you can. Put your phone down.
I don't want to hear that, man. That's not legit.
Okay, Aaron, you had something you really wanted to say. I want to hear that because it felt like you had something really good to say.
When?
It was like right before Brian was talking about, there's a good thing to know about why we should know his name and his story and all that.
I mean, it's self-explanatory. What are we talking about now?
Because it sounded like you had something, but I don't know.
He thought it was glorifying, and I explained that they're just stating the deal. I think
that it's glorifying because then you have. I just disagree with the whole idea of like putting it all over the news. 24
So how
hours.
are you supposed to
I disagree
know?
with the whole 24-hour coverage. No, I'm not talking about sending what. How did you just jump to that conclusion?
Because you just said that you don't want them to put it in the news.
It can be on the news, but don't give me 24-hour coverage. This is what's going on every single second, every minute. Like, okay, that school shooting happened. Okay, I get it, right? But I just hate the idea of glorifying the villain. That's
for every school shooting that happened, there's a balance. It's cold
hearted to me because clearly, and that's one thing that me and my girl talked about last night. Clearly, this kid was upset. He was hurt. Something happened, but I still have the inner, and you could call it the inner Christian me, the inner whatever you want to call it in me. Every person, no matter how traumatized you are, no matter how messed up your situation is, there's still that little voice that tells you right from wrong.
Mm-hmm. You have a choice for everything.
Right from wrong.
You have that, but
so
you can't
you still have the choice to. At the end of the day, he still have the choice to. You know what? I can go and I can shoot up all these people for no reason because I'm hurting, or I can fix it myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Why take out your pain on innocent people? That's what I feel is being glorified when you have 24-hour news coverage and you tell his story and you say, oh, he was this traumatized kid and this happened and this happened. Because then you have another traumatized kid who sees that on the news and sees, oh, he finally got the attention he wanted. Now I can do it this way, the way that he did it too.
So when you say that same thing, it's a chain effect. Because, like, if you see someone else being able to do something and all they're getting is, like, some little time here and there, they're probably like, oh, well, maybe it's okay for me to do it. Just like you were saying, that's kind of like a chain effect right there going on.
It can be a chain
which is the reason why we keep seeing it more often.
But you have to,
like, I feel like there's so many, like, I feel like even the difference between when we were in high school and even now, it's just so is becoming to the point where it's common.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be.
Right.
You know what I mean? We've had plenty of time to see the signs, to see, hey, maybe why did this person do this? To see, we know now if something looks suspect, we see it. How can you not see it? You know when someone looks, if someone's walking around in a trench coat in the summertime, that's a little odd. You should keep an eye on that person in general. It shouldn't be after the fact where we finally look at it and see, oh, hey, what was wrong with him?
Because
what do you think?
Because us as people don't care about other people. We've become in a selfish, cold world, and also you were raised and taught to take care of yourself and don't worry about anybody else. Now, if you can extend the ham and you want to do that out of the kindness of your heart, that's one thing. Yeah. But also you have to put in mind that you have to understand that these shootings, they shouldn't be frequently happening. He has a choice to make right from wrong, but you can't speak on a situation that you have no clue about. Do you know how it feels I can't even believe I just said, to think that how I would feel to be angry enough to want to kill someone. Unless you've been there before, you can't speak on that. You don't know what that feels like. And that's
cold-hearted, and I guess it's shallow of me to say. But
you can't speak. You don't know what that feels like.
What could happen to you that bad? Yeah. Where you have to go kill 10 innocent people? What could have happened to you that was that bad? There are people who have been in awful, terrible situations.
Because it's cause and effect.
Blown away. Have lived on the streets for years and years and years. You can't tell me that what he was going through was worse than that. You can't justify killing 10 innocent people to me. You can't. You cannot justify that. There is no I don't care what you've been through. You cannot justify killing. You can't justify killing innocent people to me. And that's why I could never join the military, because I can't justify shooting someone across the lines when they've done nothing to me. I can't justify that.
But that's cause and effect. Innocent people pay. And I'm not trying to blame the kids that bully them or whatever the case is, but that has a big deal on why the shooting kind of happened in the first place. I'm not saying that they're all the cause of the blame, but it's cause and effect. Somebody else paid for someone else's mistakes. When you poked around and pushed on little Timmy in school, and now your friends died because of it. And then you look at it because you will never openly admit and say, but you'll be sitting at home thinking about, I can't believe that I drove this guy enough to want to kill someone, and it'll hurt you more than it did. And then it also you have to look at this. We just have to agree to disagree on that.
Yeah, I can't,
because there's no wrong answer to it.
And you're not justifying him doing it, but there is no explanation for me. I don't want to know why. I don't want to know why, because there shouldn't be a why, because it shouldn't happen.
Okay, wouldn't they also go back?
The reason why is just like a doctor's note. You go to the doctor to find out why the cause of you having this health issue. So it's no different. You need to know why so you can stop it in the future. If I know that I need to stop eating salt to keep my blood pressure down, then I don't want to hear about 3 more people passing out about blood sugar because they ate too much salt. So now we know what the answer is. Let's do something about it.
But this isn't the first time this has happened, though.
Well, is what I'm saying. This isn't the first time. I just gave you the answer to that.
This isn't the first time.
So wouldn't you want to go back towards the parents? Because you also got to think about what the parents are doing at this situation. From both sides of them. The kids who may be bullying them, and also the kid who did the shooting. How was it that these parents were allowing these kids to do these things to each other so it can get to that point? And also, how was it that the parent was okay and allow this kid to be able to have access to these weapons?
Yeah, that's not always true, because it's poor parenting in a sense, because it's like, dude, how do you not know that your child, if your son is walking around in trench coats and with shirts that says "kill them all" and has got patches all over his, that's not weird to you? That's not a little outlandish. Some of the parents know, and then some of the parents don't know, because I can speak from experience of a lot of the crazy things I used to do that that I used to sneak and hide, like, just as opposed to, like, you can leave the house and change in a whole different wardrobe, and it'd be times, I'll be home tonight and do my own thing. The parents only have so much control. Now, everybody has different ways of discipline, and I'm not saying that the parents don't take some blame in this, but at the end of the day, you have your own arms and legs. I can't control you. I can teach you. And my parents stress to me all the time still, he said, we can teach you all the world of how to do things, but if you don't receive it and you don't choose to do it, it's out of my hands at that point. I can show you these things, but if you don't take heed and actually let them sink in, that's not my problem anymore.
Well, that still ties into what Aaron was saying, though. I mean, you have good points right there. It do make sense that you don't have complete control over your child and what you can do. You can do everything in your power that you can for your child.
Everybody's trying to be sneaky.
But if you still are not paying attention to what he's doing as he is at home,
like, you can. I feel like, and I'm not a parent, so I can't say for sure, but I feel like every parent still, even if they don't speak on it, I feel like most parents, most good parents know what their child is doing. Even if they don't say anything, they know. You know what I mean? But that's still, and you said that, and that even, I'll even take it to, me and my girlfriend were talking about it last night, and even as like a parent of someone.
Yeah, I would talk about parenting.
Anyway, as a parent, we were just talking about the school shooting in general because we hold different opinions towards the situation. She kind of takes more to Brian's side, and I have my own opinion about how there's no explanation, but she was saying, now as a parent, wouldn't you want to know why your child just up and decided to shoot 10 people? And I was like, I'll give you that, but it's still, at that point, there is no more. I can't, if you go up and save, and it's cold-hearted in the show, but if you go and you decide that you just want to up and kill 10 innocent people, there's no saving you, in my opinion. There is no understanding why. It's too late. It's not, and that sounds terrible saying it out loud.
Because
but it's not
terrible.
But it's not, but you can't, coming from the perspective of the parents whose children just died for no reason, it is too late. Like, I don't want to get that phone call. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get that, whether you're the parent of the one who's the killer or the one that's being killed. I don't want that phone call. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, man. It's just, I just can't justify it. No matter what he went through, no matter what happened, I cannot justify it.
But see, it's no different. And I'm going to attach something to it, and you can say it doesn't make any sense. That's fine. I'll take that. But there's no different than somebody that lives in a war zone as opposed to someone who lives in a rough neighborhood who has to deal with surviving every day as opposed to finding out that some innocent people at a school got shot up. It's no different. Like, nobody wants to get a call individually that that person got shot up and it was their loved ones. But, you know, at the end of the day, people still want to know why. I mean, they're even making movies about, for crying out loud, that movie Taken. You kidnapped my daughter. I want to know why you took her, and then I want her back. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things. It's no different, and I'm not trying to make the school shooting more important than the neighborhood crime. But if you live in a war zone as it is, you know, you can't go to, oh, well, I don't want to know. I don't want them to be glorified on the news. Just like when it happens in the neighborhood, it might not get as much attention as a school shooting, but it gets on the news. His picture gets posted for about 24 hours. His case and everything gets explained, and then it disappears and gets swept under the rug just like a lot of things do. Yeah. So, I mean, it's no different. You can't try to put one over the other. If they do all crimes like that, then it shouldn't matter if it's a school shooting or not. That's just my perception. What do I know?
Well, as far as like war and like living in like a impoverished, I'm speaking away from the mic. Sorry. As far as like war and living in like an impoverished area, that comes more of the territory of just being desensitized at that point. Like if you see someone get shot if you live in a neighborhood where people are getting shot daily, or if you live in a war zone area, if you live in an impoverished area, you're no longer and it's terrible to say, but you're desensitized to that. So unfortunately, that's everyday life. So I wouldn't necessarily take that to the point of where you live in a decent neighborhood and you all of a sudden just snap and decide to kill innocent people. I wouldn't say those necessarily the same thing.
Yeah. But the whole concept of me stating that is that there's two different reasonings behind a school shooting and a neighborhood crime. Right. And with that being said, you can't go and rant about how you don't want to hear about the school shooting and his reasoning and all that when they do the same thing for a neighborhood crime, because you have innocent people that can't afford to live in a nice neighborhood, but they're not desensitized and they have to deal with it. And you have innocent people that die all the time that get caught in the crossfire. Cause and effect, and that translates back to what I said about how paying attention to the signs and things like that, and how for the people who bullied the child, has now had the anger build up over time during the course of a year or however long it takes to want to kill someone. So it's no different. Yeah, it's just at a different angle.
It just angers me when you try to coddle and say, "Oh, well, he was bullied." So what?
No, there is no so what, because
that's not an excuse though.
It's not an excuse,
because there's people
but it's
who have been through way worse.
You're not understanding.
Everyone's story is different.
Everyone's story is different, but not everybody has the mental capacity. Some people naturally have anger issues and snap faster than someone else is that's chill about everything. With that being said, the cause of it, like I said about the blood pressure thing, salt is the reason why you are having your issues. If we can try to find some way to dumb it down or take out salt out of your equation, then you shouldn't have this issue anymore.
Well, doesn't it still tie into what he's saying?
Huh?
What doesn't it still tie into what he was saying though? Because if he can try to take the time to fix that situation instead of just jumping straight to conclusion, then maybe it would have turned out a lot better. Just like you were saying with the salt thing. Like, you want to try to decrease it or fix that salt problem. Well, wouldn't he want to do the same exact thing? So,
but he's saying he doesn't care about the bullying. That's what you need to care about, because it's not that the bullying is more important than the death alone. It's that it's the reasoning why.
Yeah.
So now that you know the core of the situation, you attack it head on. That's all I'm addressing.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm saying. The kid literally said that.
But he's saying he doesn't care about the core.
But the kid, I'm just talking now. Other situations are different. I'm talking about this one situation in general. The kid literally said when they took him in, "I did it for attention." He just did it for attention.
But that's one shooting got a 30.
He did it for attention. So why? And I get that. But why? If that's the case, I just did it for attention. Why am I? There's no justifying. There's no. I just hold.
So what's the core of the situation?
That's no different. Then
the core of the situation.
Then why is it that like these school shootings are just now like the longer this generation goes, the higher the chance is of there being a school shooting. Like if you look back in like the 40s and the 30s and the 50s, there was no mass school shootings. This stuff just started happening. So what happened with these generations, our generation included, where people are just snapping, they're becoming soft, they're not able to handle the bullying, the this, the that? Is it the parents that raised them? Is it the generation itself? Is it the society that they're surrounded by? What happened to where people just can't all of us have been in situations where we've been either bullied or we've been made fun of, we've been poked fun of, we've had shitty things happen. Excuse me for French, we've had bad things happen to us. But that doesn't necessarily negate to the fact that you just take it all out on other innocent people. There are other ways to cope. I don't care how crazy you are. I don't care what, you know what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't, and maybe it's because I can't empathize with that situation because I don't understand that mindset, but it just doesn't make sense to me how someone can justify hurting innocent people. It just doesn't. I don't care what happened to you. It can't be justified and it cannot be. So I don't want to hear the explanation because it shouldn't happen. And maybe that makes me closed-minded and I'll take that. But I just don't. You know what I mean? I don't know. It frustrates me, and sometimes my thoughts get tangled because it shouldn't happen to me. Or it shouldn't happen.
Last point I'm going to make on this, we have to make a close at some point about this conversation. Then we'll jump into Kanye and all that other stuff.
I have one other thing after this, but yeah, go ahead and say your point.
It's not that you are being closed-minded, but like I said, you want to know the reasonings of why things happen, so that way we can try to find a solution.
Prevent. And I understand that.
And then also at the standpoint of, he said attention, so that's also a lack of parenting issue and not getting shown love and affection. The reason why, as I said, as we evolve as human beings, the more things that are created to help us, someone's always looking to find a loophole to use them against us. As opposed that you can use social media uplifting, but then also it can be used to bully. As opposed to as our parents were raised and things like that, it was all about giving back, helping one another, and doing things like that.
Is it still not about that?
No, I disagree with that because I believe that if you drive and see someone on the side of the road, you're not going to extend a hand to help them and pick them up because you don't know them.
You can't say that because
I finish? No, I don't want to hear this.
Parents couldn't even drink out of the same water fountain as other people.
My parents could. I don't know how old your parents are, but
your parents are the same age as mine.
That was like. Yeah, a little bit.
There was segregation in Louisville in the 60s and 70s. Don't do that. Both of our parents were alive.
70s, but
coming up to 40 minutes.
All right, 70s. But listen, what I'm saying is back in the day, because of segregation, you had no choice but to look out for your one and only, your culture, your black people. Black people stand for the black people, look out just to get through, and white people do the same because they don't care about black people back in the day. Now that everybody's integrated, I'm all about myself. I'm going to get mine. Hey, dog, I ain't worried about you. Forget you. Nobody wants to. Normal people, celebrities give back to try to help make an impact, and it also raises their stock, so there's a one-on-one there. If we do that, if we get put in the hole, we in the hole. We don't have 100,000 to just, poof. So with that being said, you can disagree with it, but, I mean, it's not hard to look around and see that the average person is not going to help you. They put themselves first, which you're supposed to to a degree, but they're not going to help, and that they're not really worried about what you got going on.
There's plenty of selfless people out here, man. I wouldn't say that.
But as a whole, as a majority, it's not.
I don't really think that the generational gap is that huge as far
because
as,
you
as
find
far
it,
as selfishness is concerned.
I can speak on experience from being homeless. I can speak on experience from being homeless that when you get down and out, the people are going to kick you more than they are going to lift you up, and there are not many people are willing to help you as you think. Now, I have gratefully that the Lord has blessed me that I have friends and family that are willing to help me get back up to a point, but I can speak on living from outside and being from the ground, literally sleeping on the ground and coming up from ways that I could never imagine of making. So when I say that when people don't care, no matter what you're going through, they don't care. So back in the day, it was different because you didn't have a choice but to look out for your one and only.
I disagree with that, dude, because there were still homeless people in like the 60s. You can't say back in the day like there wasn't like homeless individuals back then. You know
but
what I'm saying?
It was homeless individuals, but there was more goals. Because see, the thing is, one apple.
We weren't there. We
wasn't there. But one apple ruins a bunch. One apple spoils the whole bunch. Because see, the thing is, people used to pick people up on the side of the road, help out, this and that. They don't do it now because people's intentions are different. Somebody wants to come in and kidnap you and all that old crazy crap. And that's why that stuff changes now. But because of that stuff is why you don't see people helping out as much. You ain't going to just pick no stranger up because you don't know what he got. What are you going to do? He might hijack you, blow your brains out, and take your car. And there you go rob a bank or something. And because that's happened before, unfortunately, that's why people don't do it as often. Back in the day, it was not a problem. Your parents tell you stories all the time. Oh, we see down the street, if we didn't have nothing, we go over and do this and that. I mean, you can't tell me you haven't asked an older person, no matter what color they are, about all the things they did to help someone else and how, as a community, as a whole. Now, and it's like because you don't have a choice.
But there are still people who are like that in our generation, though. That's all I'm saying. You can't just...
It's not as many. That's all I'm getting at.
Yeah.
You're not wrong, but it's not as many. I'm saying there's less now than it was then because due to technology and programs, far as like food stamps and things, all that stuff didn't exist back in the day. Food stamps and all that other stuff, it exists now. And because we have all these programs, you're like, why on earth would I give you help? They got all this stuff going on. You don't need no help. You're just being lazy. And that's the first thing someone wants to resort to is say they're being lazy. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm going to close on, but I disagree with that. So
go ahead with your point, Anthony, because I still want to get to that girl on the college campus too before we end this podcast.
Okay.
And Kanye.
Well,
we'll save Kanye for another day.
We're gonna have to cut it short because I don't want to go to like a whole hour.
We can even make this a two-parter, perhaps.
But we could still keep it as one and then create one more.
Okay, go ahead.
So, like, I want to go back to the whole attention thing because we were talking about how like the kid at the shooting, he was like pretty much wanting attention. Mm-hmm. So, wouldn't you say the same thing about this chick who just graduated? I forgot which college she went to. But
I think it was somewhere in Texas. I think it was like somewhere, ironically, in Texas where the school shooting was. I think. I may be wrong. I don't
know. Let's check up on it. But I do want to talk about how she pretty much put that on there, and a lot of people are now saying that she's wanting attention because like she graduated and she took a gun to school with her, and presenting it and saying that she's a woman of arms and all that. A lot of people have their opinions on it, especially with all the shootings and stuff that's going on. A lot of people are saying like, well, we do not want someone representing someone holding a gun, and there's so many shootings right now.
She's young and didn't know any better. I'm not going to say that it was for attention, but I'm not going to say it was right, but I'm going to say it was wrong. I mean, we've all done some dumb things. We posted things or said some things that we probably wish we could take back. I think it was just one of them instances. She might went out partying. It was just like, girls are fascinated. Women are fascinated by different things. Every woman's different. She probably seen that. Like they said, like a man in uniform. Thought maybe dude was in the military or some junk like that. And was like, oh, this is cool. This is, let me get a picture with this. This looks awesome. How things are. It's not that I think that she was doing it to try to get attention and stuff. Especially, I don't think she knew the cause of it, how much it would jeopardize her graduating and things like that. So that's just my, take on it. It's pretty self-explanatory.
So what about the part where like, because there are also people saying that she's using her privilege, which is pretty deep right there to say so.
Let me walk on U of L's campus with an AR-15 and nobody bat an eye. That ain't going to happen. Don't tell me that it's not going to happen.
It wasn't out in the open, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, it was.
It was right on campus.
It was on campus. She had professional graduation pictures taken.
Yep.
It was right on campus.
Well, we have to add, was anybody in the military? Like,
No.
I mean, relatives. Like, was it a? You know,
Either way, what does that have to do with anything?
Because
I
they
walked on a college campus with
when
an
it comes to-
AR-15 and took pictures. And
when
nobody
it comes
batted
to the
an eye.
military and things like that, it's a little different.
I don't know
Like
her
if you got
life.
somebody with a uniform on, they got their gun with them, and you take a picture with them in your graduation outfit, it's a little different.
Right.
So it's not the same.
Well, yeah, I don't know her life story and all that, but from what she was telling on Fox News and going on about,
You're allowed to carry a gun anyway. So with that being said, if you got a license, even if you don't, you're allowed to carry a gun due to the rights. So with that being said, she didn't kill or harm anybody, so it doesn't matter. That is your privilege for a reason. So whoever said that's an idiot.
oh yeah, like I'm perfectly fine with her doing that. Like it's
So what's
fine
the
to
issue?
do so, but it's still like kind of messed. I'm not saying it's messed up on like she could do whatever she wants. But a lot of people are out there saying, well, you can't have just any normal black or Hispanic person go up and carry a gun to school because, and also it's hurting the people who has lost family at schools because of these school shootings and all that. Because she took that right around the time where people are now debating about, oh, should we still have gun rights? Because we having people with guns who don't know how to control themselves with guns. And then this is happening right around times where school shootings are going on. Like, she's posting herself with a gun right after graduation, posing it and saying, like, hey, I'm a proud owner of this. I think it was an AR-15 or something.
She has a right to carry the gun.
My thing
It's
is,
her
there's a
gun.
time and a place. There's a time and a place, and this is
You can do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I don't care
It's an
what
extremely
happened to
sensitive area.
somebody else.
So
I'm not
you're
going to
telling
stop
me-
living my life because of someone else's bad decisions.
So you're telling
If I
me-
want to take pictures with a gun and I have a license to carry,
So you're
then that's my
telling me-
business. Are you going to walk around and tell everybody at a grocery store, any place that they carry a gun at, that, oh, you shouldn't have that out because they just had a school shooting and now you might be this and that? You can't do that. It's a reason. So
But so
it's
you're telling
not
me,
really a
let me-
conversation to me.
Let me ask you this question. It's not stupid. It's not
Yes, it
stupid.
is.
Let me ask you this question. I want you right now. No, I want you right now. I want you to go get an AR-15. I want you to go walk on the U of L's campus and see what happens to you.
Okay.
I want you to see how many people. First of all, how many people are first of all going to call the police, and how many times? And 9 times out of 10, are you not going to end up shot?
Taking pictures and walking around is two
If
different
you're
things.
walking around as a black man on a college campus with an AR-15, you're not going. The police. Nobody's going to call the police on you. You telling me that? And what you're wearing right now, that white shirt,
There's a
a
purpose.
plain white tee.
She wasn't
With
in
an
her
AR-15.
graduation gear, too.
No.
So you
Her
telling
and her
me
boyfriend
if you just
wasn't.
show up on U of L's campus, gun in hand, just walking around, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, he's cool. That's fine. That's great. Thumbs up." You think you're just gonna go home unscathed? Nobody's gonna bat an eye. People gonna walk up to you, want to take a picture with you. As a black man,
Am I holding it or is it around my
6'5", as a
shirt?
black man.
But
Am
that-
I holding
Louisville,
it or is it I'm
Kentucky.
just carrying it? Yeah.
It doesn't
If I-
matter.
if I-
It
so
doesn't
what-
matter
what
if
if
you're
I
holding
walk?
it.
But if
she
I walk
has it
around,
exposed.
if I walk around with a pistol on my hip and it's showing, what's the difference? I'm just
But
asking you a
that-
question. There are different guns and all, but they're both guns. At the end of the day, it is a gun. Regardless of how scary it looks or whatever you want to call it, if I walk around with a pistol showing and I ain't aiming at nobody,
Either
nowhere,
way-
I'm just
either
asking
way,
a question.
Even on a campus, on a college campus with a pistol,
Now,
people are gonna look at you funny.
Right
Man, I'm
after some
sorry.
school
If you're not
shootings.
in uniform and you have a weapon on a college campus, people are gonna look at you funny. I
No,
don't care
I
if
ain't
it's
go
a
to-
pistol.
so look.
I don't care if you walk around with a
is
knife.
that
a
not
pocket-
allowed on the college campus?
I don't care if it's a pocket knife.
No, I'm asking the question. Is a gun not allowed on the college campus?
Not really.
I don't
So
believe
then that's where she's in the wrong yet then. So the end of discussion. She can have it and walk around anywhere
End of
else.
discussion.
Yeah, that's what she's in the wrong.
Yeah.
She can walk around, do whatever she want to do with that gun.
Yeah.
As long as it ain't to hurt nobody. But as long as she's in a place where she's allowed to carry the gun. If she's on the campus and the school says no guns, that's where she is in the wrong, and then there's where some consequences should be taken of. But we all know how the story goes. So at the end of the day, there's not much more to talk about. But because she didn't hurt anybody, y'all worried about somebody carrying around a gun as opposed to somebody who used one. So I don't think it's
Well,
no more to
that
talk about.
all goes into like the fear of what's going on right now. Because I'm fine with whatever she does right there, but still, like the things that are going on right now, you got
And that goes back into the last
I'm not
discussion.
even talking about it
That
as far
negates
as
the
there-
back to what I was talking about when I talked about giving the helping hand, as opposed to people have used that helping hand to do some evil things, as opposed to like they used to help people. So the same thing with the gun thing. Like
Well,
the
see,
Vegas shooting.
They're not too worried about her shooting it, but what if she did do so? See, it would have been a different. I'm not saying that she did or anything bad, but
Well, she's already in the wrong
what if
anyway.
What if she did do so? It still goes on to what the school shooting was, because like a lot of people are going, "Oh, he's not going to do anything like that."
Well, she
but
took
look
it
what
to a
he
place
did.
that he wasn't supposed to be at. So there's no discussion.
I'm not even.
Yeah,
The
it's like
simple
the same
fact.
thing.
Now, if she was out in somewhere like where she was allowed to carry it, then that's where it's a 50-50 split. But she's already in the wrong for holding it. So with that being said, because she's in an area where they say no guns for this and that reason, no matter that's the law, the school, college, I didn't go, I don't know. So that's what if that's what they say. If that's what they say, the cops need to be called and you need to stop the person at hand so that way you can stop the problem. That's the core of the situation.
Yeah.
So since that's the core, we tack it head on. Call the cops. Ma'am, I understand you're not doing anything wrong with the gun, but because of previous issues, you need to put that thing away and you need to go somewhere else. In the discussion. All right? There's nothing else to be said. That's how you stop that situation.
Can I just ask you one question, Brian?
It's not.
Can I
it's
just
not
ask
that
you
pe-
one question,
Yeah.
Brian? I just want to ask you one question, dude. And you shaking your head like this is the most ignoramus conversation ever. But I want to ask you one question.
Stop the person.
I want to ask you one question. As a black male, do you believe, personally, that if you walked on a college campus with an AR-15, that you're going to get treated the same way as a white girl with blonde hair on that same campus? Do you believe that you're going to be treated the same way? That's my only question. Do you believe people are going to look at you and treat you the same way that she got treated with the same gun, being a 6'5" African-American male? You already pose a threat without a weapon. So if you walk on a college campus with a weapon with an assault rifle, not an automatic assault rifle, but just an assault rifle in general, do you believe that you will be treated with the same equality that she was treated with? Answer it honestly. You smiling because you know the answer. Answer it honestly. Tell the people of the world, do you believe? That's all I want to know. And we can drop it there. That's the whole argument I have with this. That's my only issue with this. I could care less what she does with that gun when she takes pictures. I just want to know, do you feel you will be treated the same way with the same weapon because of the color of your skin? That's all I want to know.
I have to bring in the X factor.
There is no X factor.
Yes.
That's a yes or no question.
Oh,
it's a yes or no question.
Wait.
It's a yes or no question. Don't give me no
We
explanation.
are black people get hated on in this country already as it is, and we are minorities. So with that being the X factor, there's going to be a reason why I get treated different. Now, if the world was ran like it was supposed to with a 50-50 split, then yes, I would say yes to that answer. But because if not, then I have to say no.
Well,
but because of the X factor. If there's no X factor, then we would then.
So
Then
would
how
the
do you get rid of the X
X
factor?
factor be like the
Well, that's
alternative
the process.
wishful life
That's
instead of like, here's the real life? So you're really just admitting that, okay, in the real life, I wouldn't be able to do that.
What I'm admitting is that it's hard to answer that question due to the
How's it
unfairness of black people as
How's
it
it hard to
is.
answer? It's just an honest.
Due to the unfairness of black people as it is. If things were ran the way they were supposed to be ran in a perfect world, which is not, then yes.
So then, but that's the whole argument that I'm making is fighting for that X factor. It shouldn't
What did
be.
they- what
it
did they
shouldn't
do
be
with
the
the white
You
woman?
shouldn't have
I don't
had
know
to.
the story.
You shouldn't have had to explain that X factor. It's my whole point. That's why we're having the conversation.
Story is just
The fact
her
that you just
graduating.
admitted there was
What
an
did
X
they
factor.
do?
That's
Did
the whole
they say
point.
anything? Arrest her? Anything?
They
No,
didn't
it's
do
just
anything to her. She
controversial.
just
She's
wasn't-
fine. Her and her boyfriend both took pictures with a matching twin AR-15s. Happy go lucky, smiles go round. Let me and my girl walk on U of L's campus with two AR-15s, and I bet my ass gets gunned down. I bet I do. No explanation, no question. Sir, do you have a permit? I bet I get shot. And tell me I'm lying because I'm not. And that's what I'm fighting about for equality. That's what I'm talking about.
It's a process. That's all I want to say.
All right. Well, I think we have gone long enough. I want to thank you both for coming out here. And yes, it has been a very deep conversation on this podcast. And I just realized this is episode 6.
Making some progress here.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get to the next episode, man. I got a lot of stuff we need to talk about.
Yeah. But I'm also trying to get my haircut too. So I don't know.
Well, we'll skip it then. We'll go back to it later. Go ahead and end it.
I mean, unless y'all got plenty of time afterwards or anything, I don't know. But
it don't matter to me. Like I said, I just want to get the other stuff out the way. What was else we supposed to talk about other than Kanye?
we'll discuss it afterwards.
Yeah, we'll
but
save it
right
for
now,
the
let's
episode.
just go ahead and end the episode because we've gone on for quite some time. It's almost like our other hour-long episode. So yeah.
Dang, Destructo.
Even though this whole entire episode was very controversial, everyone has their opinions, and of course, like We're just expressing our thoughts and giving our opinions of how we feel about each of these situations. Yes, you may have some of your own, and that's perfectly fine. And it'll be nice for us to hear some of those. But just keep in mind that we are not here to even hurt anybody. We're just giving our thoughts. Mm-hmm. And I thank both of you for coming out today and be able to record this episode. It's been a pretty successful one. Any last words y'all want to throw in right now?
Yeah, I mean, just to top off what Anthony said, yeah, it's absolutely just our opinions, folks. I mean, you know, we're certainly not out to offend anyone or hurt anyone's feelings. Thank you for interrupting me, sir. Anyway, it's definitely, you know, an open invite, though. If anyone is interested or would like to guest star on an episode of the podcast, you know, please feel free to let us know. You can reach any of us. We'll be more than willing to reach back to you. We're always looking for guest stars. We're always looking for more opinions because, you know, this is how we...
Yeah, I want to hear your friends.
This is how we enlighten each other around the road, folks, is we share perspectives and we share opinions because, you know, someone might have an opinion that none of the three of us may have thought about, and you could change how we feel about something that you feel strongly about. So definitely open invite there. Thank y'all for listening. We appreciate all the support. I think that's about all I got, man. Brian, if you want to throw anything onto that, feel free, sir.
I don't got nothing to throw onto it, man.
Okay.
Just keep checking in on the videos, man. We'll update y'all as we go.
All right. Well, yeah.
It's been really plugs real quick if you want, I guess.
I mean, yeah, if y'all want to throw in a plug,
everything's still the same.
I know you still talking. You got Black Samurai 25.
Yeah.
Right. Is there an underscore in there somewhere?
Yeah, Black underscore Samurai 25.
There you go.
For the, which I will be dropping a trailer here in the next, hopefully a week or so. A little promo clip. It's going to be a total of 3 videos. I'm going to be combined. One I'm going to drop them on Instagram and Facebook. I don't know how I'm going to do them yet, far as
still in
the
production.
Style of it. So it's still in production. I released on Instagram and Snapchat a little promo clip, but everything that's on, they're both the same thing is posted on both sites. So Instagram, you can check that, get the info on that, and you'll see a little preview clip of some of the beats and things that we're working with. So yeah.
Okay.
And I got a couple guys I give my shout outs to. They're gonna drop all their info in the video when it drops. So I don't want to unleash their stuff because I don't want to get their names and stuff wrong. So I don't know if they changed anything on their profiles yet. So you're going to see some of the guys that I work with and how they have matured and things like that. So
all right,
that's it.
Cool. Same for me. I mean, you know, I'm still just ripping and running, living and learning. Instagram and Twitter is always the same. It's the CROWNPRINCEAJ. You can keep up with me there, folks. Appreciate y'all tuning in. So that's all I got.
All right, cool. Well, thank you both for coming out and giving y'all opinions on that. I don't have to throw in my plugs. I mean, if you listen to this, you pretty much got my information. But but yeah, that's all for this episode of Academia. Thank you all for tuning in. And we are still bringing in more people to have opinions because it's nice to hear others' thoughts. And I hope you all have a nice day. And thank you for listening to another episode. And we'll catch you all later.
Peace.